Welcome to the Channel Surfers. I'm John McCabe, and I'm joined as always by my co-host and very good friend, Jeff Lennon. How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, John. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. You know, today's a great day because we have a really good friend of mine and someone who I really admire. This person has had very senior level executive positions with companies like Avalara, Lean Data, and Demandbase. And over the past, I'd say 5 years, 6 years, he branched out and formed a company or a community called Partnership Leaders. Without further ado, I want to introduce our guest because I'm really excited about talking to him today. We have Asher Mathew, who is the CEO and co-founder of Partnership Leaders. How you doing, Asher?
Super. Well, thanks for having me. And had I known, I would have worn my surfer shirt as well, you know?
That's our thing. We're the surfers. We're the channel surfers.
It's definitely a laid-back theme. So
yeah. So Asher, we're so happy you're joining us today. And look, I talk about Partnership Leaders a lot to anyone who wants to listen. In fact, Jeff just joined. He's a new member, and I think he got sick of hearing it from me. But
welcome aboard.
The community is
John, I'll digress for a second. So John told me about Partnership Leaders, I think 3 years ago, and I kind of looked at it, didn't jump into it. I did now. I have been in, I guess, about 3-4 months now. Totally not doing it when he first told me. So with all due respect. So yeah, it's been awesome. A lot of information, which we're going to kind of dive into some of that today.
Yeah. Happy to break it down.
I get a lot of like LinkedIn requests to talk about it. In fact, there was a guy that reached out to me 2 weeks ago and he wanted to know more about it. And I'm like, I think I convinced him to join. So I'm a zealot. I preach the good word of Partnership Leaders, but like, why don't you just give us a little bio on yourself, and then I want to talk about Partnership Leaders, the creation and just the growth and everything that is great about the organization.
Yeah. So I started off as a software engineer when I came to this country in 2001. And then after I finished school, I decided to become part of the statistic that says 70% of the people don't use what they learned in school. So I was like, have to be a part of the statistic, let's go do this. And so I did spend, I would say, maybe like a couple of months in just technical support and a little bit of software engineering. And then the need at the time was for someone to explain the product that we were building. And it really was somewhat of a sales engineering role. And back then, sales engineering just meant you're the demo person. So I was a demo person. Mm-hmm. And so then when one day, as I was doing a demo, the people on the other side were like, hey, just out of curiosity, how much does this cost? And just out of nowhere, I just thought, what if I just say 100K and see what happens, And so I just said, it's 100K. And they said, okay, how fast can you do this? And I was like, well, in 90 days. They're like, done. Send us a PO and then we're good. Let's go do this. And then that was the first time I had actually done sales. And that was actually my first deal. And then I got so hooked onto it, and I realized that there was value in the world to be the person that is able to take business requirements and translate them into technology for engineers to build. And there was value in the world for someone who can understand technology and explain it to business users in a way that they can use it. And that was essentially my goal. And so from there, then, obviously, a lot of really good salespeople have accomplished a lot of great things by pursuing that goal. And I went on to become a channel sales leader because that company went to market through partners. And then I went to another company and I did the same thing, but only now for technology partnerships. And then I became a VP of partnerships, and then I became a CRO, and then after that, I basically became a CEO. Essentially, that's the journey. And in the middle, I went through a couple of companies that got acquired. One went public. So I've kind of seen the whole thing. Been very excited about to do that. But I always wanted to build something for partner professionals because I just realized over time through my own struggles that there was no place that elevated us like sales professionals and marketing professionals and product professionals and consulting for professionals and finance professionals and every other thing. Like even community professionals had an amazing conference, but partner professionals did not have anything modern. So there's a number of communities that are out there. I will say that, like for channel leaders and stuff. And while they're there, they're really addressing the needs of channel leaders in hardware companies, not in software or services, or let's call it in the AI era now.
Yeah.
And so about 6 years ago, Chris and I were sitting at Dreamforce, and I was talking to him about where do partner professionals, specifically technology partner professionals, hang out. And he couldn't come up with anything, and I couldn't come up with anything. So he said, I'm going to go send an email out and get a few people on it. And that was the start of Partnership Leaders.
Wow.
And then from there, where we are today, I believe we are focused on helping business leaders build modern businesses through partnerships. And I say that because for the last 5 years, we've been focused on elevating partner professionals, but a number of amazing partner professionals have come out of PL by using the resources, by leveraging the peer group, by branding themselves as modern partnership leaders, and also the chief partner officer movement, which is a highly ranking partner professional who owns both product partnerships and go-to-market partnerships. Thing now, right? There's 1,000 of them. So I feel like the elevating partnerships thing that we originally started the journey on is already there.
Yeah.
But what isn't there, and what isn't very well understood, is how do you build a modern business through partnerships, right? And when we look at that, you have partner professionals who could be broken into alliances and channels and technology professionals. And then you have sales leaders and marketing leaders and product leaders and consulting leaders and finance leaders and founders and CEOs. And you've got this business leader group, as I call it. And they care about business strategy, which means how do I build or buy or partner to go to market? They care about ecosystem strategy. Who are all the companies that are going to be in this ecosystem with us, who are going to live our brand and help us fill our value proposition to the customers? And what does governance look like? And what does risk look like? And what are the incentives and the rewards look like? Then there is the how does partnerships help companies take advantage of the AI economy, and what role are they going to play? Or how do I, as a partnership leader, support my company's AI ambitions by automating and scaling my function through AI? Then there is the platform topic, which is how do I use product partnerships to become a platform company? Then there is the marketplaces topic, which is do I build on my own marketplace, build a marketplace for myself, or do I build on somebody else's? And like these 5 core focus areas, I would say, are business leader focus areas. And then on the other side are what we call partnership professional focus areas, which is like partner and partner marketing, and like ops and tools and programs and leadership and organization development. So that is like the core focus areas of what we are working on today. So I'll pause for a second for you guys to chime in, and then I can tell you exactly how we're doing it.
Yeah, I was going to ask that, but we had Michelle Etherton on recently, and she was actually our first guest. But she talked about the marketplace and ecosystem, and it was an amazing discussion with her. I think one thing our audience doesn't know, they might not know who Partnership Leaders is, and I'm glad we're going to expose it to the audience that we have. But everything Asher just covered is just so far and deep from what the initial idea was. And when I joined, I think I've been in it 5 years now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm the OG, right? But
exactly, it was just an email chain / like Slack channel, if you want to call it.
But it was just like this community that really was very unselfish. If you had an issue or a question or a problem, you could reach out to the community and they would help you. It's just grown so exponentially. There are channels within our Slack group that have templates for contracts or blueprints for building a channel or ecosystem, or like everything you'd ever need to know is right there. And above and beyond that, it's just a tremendous group of people. And you have your annual meeting, Catalyst, which is phenomenal. You get together, you get to meet people. It's just, you learn, and it's this great feeling. You walk away from that 3-day event, feeling like you've learned and you've grown. So, what I'd like to know, you've done a great job explaining how everything got created. What were some of the pivotal moments that help partnership leaders scale from a small group to now this like global community? It's amazing. Chris is all over the world. Chris, by the way, is Chris Amelia. He's one of the co-founders. And then Ty Radigan is the other one, for those that don't know. But what is it that has helped you make that turn and grow?
Yeah, so it's great. I mean, I can tell you about the how we do what we do now. And so initially we were essentially a group of people on an email, right? There's about 13 of us. And then we said, okay, email is not the best form of technology to use to get good communication taking place, because the threads were getting longer. So we moved to Slack. And then when we moved to Slack, we said, let's invite people who we trust into this group because we want to make it bigger. And then when we did that, I think we had 900 people in 3 months. And it was not because Partnership Leader was new, it was because COVID hit.
Yeah, that's around when I joined.
Yeah, all the forms of meeting in person went away, and now there was a macro environment created for the birth of a digital private network. That's essentially what this is, right?
Yeah.
And so if you think about this, like, we got extremely lucky to be formed. And so then from there, we said, okay, if we want to now continue and elevate the role, we need to tell the stories of all of the professionals that are inside this network. And right at that time, Slack also introduced a paid plan where our messages kept getting, or maybe they had it, we just didn't realize it, but our messages kept kind of get the historical messages get erased. So we needed to move to a paid plan. And so we went to a paid plan. So I believe we went from like 900 people to like 200 people in one day, because people were like, we're not paying. We don't, this isn't a real thing, et cetera, et cetera. And then slowly, we got all the people back, or a number of them back.
Can I just interrupt you for a second? For those of you listening out there, it's worth every dollar. When you guys started charging and then you increased the rate, I did it, and it's worth every dollar. Don't get hung up on what the cost is. It's worth it.
Thank you. No, and I totally appreciate you saying that, because as we've grown, like, we have media channels running, we have resources that are being created. We obviously have now 2,030 members in 95 countries. We have staff that does provide support around the clock. We could be doing a lot of things much better, but I believe we are one of the very few, let's just say, even at the community level, communities that has been able to get to this point, primarily because our persona is a connector, right? We balance connectors and builders, basically. And so a few of us are builders to the core, and that's like our major, and those people go to build programs and teams and functions and organizations. And then most of us are connectors. And so for us to connect and stay connected is like oxygen, right? And so, and I feel proud of that, because on the other side, you have salespeople, and on the other side, you have domain experts, basically. And so, so then after we created the community / private network, COVID was subsiding, people said, let's go meet up. So we said, okay, let's go meet up. And then it just so happened that 420 people showed up to meet up. And I was like, that's not a meetup. Meetup is like 15 people. And so
it's like Lollapalooza.
Exactly, totally. What is going on over here? And it just so happened to be in Miami also,
Yeah.
So we said, okay,
you had your own flash mob, man.
Totally. And we were making the dance routine as we were like, hanging out. So, And then we had yachts at this event, which we called partnerships. And there was 2 of them because one of them couldn't fit the whole crew. And so it became a conference from there. And then we realized that there was a need for a partnerships only conference, but where SMB, mid-market, and enterprise companies showed up, where ICs, managers, org leaders, and exec leaders showed up, and they would all connect with each other without the pressure of going to another conference, finding your partners, finding your executives, finding your customers, finding your prospects, and do all that alignment. This was a pure partnering conference where people came and talked about what they're learning in the industry, how others can learn from them, and elevate, essentially, how do you build a business through partnerships, right?
Yeah.
And then and so then that became another unit, right? And then as we were going through our journey, what most people, and John, you've actually done this with me too, is like, well, what does good look like, and what does the market feel about this, and like how much are people getting paid, and how is comp plans running, and all these other things, right? So we started doing research, and we're very grateful to our friends at HubSpot because they told us, if you're going to go down this research path, you always have to do very high quality research. You cannot do you cannot be a research company and a media company at the same time. You can definitely distribute your research through media channels, but media is designed for like eyeballs, and research is designed for content, right? So, or high quality content. And so we, because of the nature of both Krista and I, we went down the high quality research path, and we did a number of research with like EY and BCG and like Salesforce and like all the brand names that you would imagine. And just think about this, like we're still a broke company, like we're not this like, and we're a bootstrapped business, and we're not like large by any means, but we care about this function a lot. So we did research, then we started doing training, then we started offering talent services. Today we also do some advisory work around partnerships, based just in our world with companies that are over 100 million. So we essentially have like a services company for anything partnerships is where we are today.
Yeah. I just want to make one note. This is probably the quietest Jeff has ever been on one of the podcasts.
I know. I'm like, look, Jeff was like, hey, this is casual. And I'm like, well, where's Jeff?
I'm not going to lie, Asher. I keep coming off mute, and I'm going to jump in. Okay. This is like, and by the way, I'm not great at double Dutch jump roping, just to be comparing here. And I've come off mute. I'm like, I'm going to ask a question. Okay, he's still talking. So the fact that we're asking these open-ended questions, it's quite amazing. Like how John's first question, John will tell you, if you listen to any of the podcasts, I always like to pause and go, holy crap, that was a mouthful. Like that was a lot. Like we just unpacked. You unpacked a lot in that first question, and then
totally.
He asked another question, and you just unpacked a lot, which I think is great. So. Yeah. But here and again, part of our charter, so to speak, right, is trying to help people, right? And this isn't so much a plug for partnership leaders, but I want to kind of ask you a 2-part question, right? And that is, what advice would you give to someone who's just looking to start off in the field of partnerships and channel, right?
Yep.
And this also ties back to a previous podcast that we did. And what are the skills that you consider to be most essential to be successful? And I'm just going to I'll kind of help you cheat here. Networking is one of them, without a doubt, right? The whole communication. But and again, so it's really, what advice would you give to somebody starting the channel, and what skills you think are really essential? Because that's part of where I see our platform is, we've got a really disparaging, group of people that are new to channel. And then we have a lot of senior people. And by the way, on the senior side, I'll throw this out there and then let you answer. AI is another kind of indicator that you constantly have to be learning. You constantly have to be re-educating yourself, because it's just, you got to stay up on what's happening. So anyway, I'll just kind of, now I'll pause, let you kind of answer that.
Well, the first 2 questions I think took 15 minutes. And so if you ask me 3 questions in a row, what can I get done over here,
Those are Jeff's specialties.
Absolutely.
I'll go bring some coffee.
Multi-tiered questions.
I'm trying to get into the White House briefing room, just to be honest, so I can ask my multi-tiered questions. No, I'm just kidding.
That's funny. So the first question you asked is, what advice would I give to someone starting, right? What I would say is, learn the process of partnerships, 5 or 6 years ago, this was still a very experimental, or maybe it's said different ways. A lot of the proven processes weren't codified, but that's not the reality today. Today, there are playbooks that are already available in the marketplace, and become a student of partnerships through the playbook versus the network. Because a lot of people will tell you it's about trust and relationships and this and that, which it is, right?
Yep.
But that's not where you should start, in my humble opinion. Today,
Yeah.
you should be scientific about partnerships and start there, and then layer the art on top of that. Versus what previously used to happen is it was start with art and try to layer the science on top of that, and that did not work for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. That is actually, it's funny. We talk a lot about, and Jeff, you could jump in here, but
Yeah,
we
you
talk
can
a lot
come
about
off mute
trust.
first.
Yeah, I know. I muted just because. Well, anyway, but no. I was just going to say. I mean, I thought that was great, but I think the key there, and you nailed something. And it's funny because I made a note, and this came up in our conversation with Michelle. It is about the playbooks, right? Like to your point, it's kind of like the wheel. It's not like there's anything that is dramatically new, but how you apply what you have and how you go to market is critically important. And there are playbooks. I mean, I was joking around doing like almost like a test kitchen of playbooks, right? Because as we start to see this shift into AI, it's not like you're going to do something completely new, but it's going to be pieces of how we did things in the past. But it has to change. It has to augment itself. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah,
was going to say, playbooks are something we talked about on a couple shows.
Yeah, and there are playbooks for channel partnerships. There are playbooks for alliance partnerships. There are playbooks for technology or product partnerships. So there are they exist.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing I would say is don't do it alone. In sales, you potentially could do it alone by just reading the 7,000 books or blogs that are out there. But in partnerships, you don't have to do it alone, because there are a number of professionals that have made a bunch of mistakes, had lots of success all around the world, that would be happy to spend some time and help guide you. There are a number of meetups. We do a number of meetups, so there's tons of meetups already happening now, right?
Yeah.
There are quite a few summits taking place in the marketplace. There's at least 3 conferences taking place. There's at least 4 or 5, including you guys, like really modern podcasts that are out there, right? So there's enough resources today. Then if you need templates and other things, like we have them, and some of them are free on our website too, that you can go grab. So there's enough resources to help you be successful. And also, we as in PL celebrates successful partnership leaders all the time. So there's also a point of view on what does success look like.
Right. By the way, it's Asher. It's in the name, partnerships, right?
Yes,
So,
totally.
It's in the name. So you really don't want to do it alone, because what's that old saying? If you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, you go together. And that's kind of the whole motto. So, but yeah, it's in the name. I thought that was awesome. I just made a note of that. So
yeah. So sorry. So then let's talk about your second question. So do you want to repeat your second question?
So it was really about the skill set or skills that you think somebody starting out needs to have. And the best part for me is skills are something you learn. It's a learned thing. So it's not like you need to have these things, right? It's not inert. It's something you're going to build and develop. So
so I would say having sales skills are extremely important, because you want to do proper discovery about whether the partnership that you're looking to form is going to deliver a customer outcome or not. And it's similar to how you build a product. You go do R&D, and in the partnerships R&D world, ends up in a joint value proposition. That's a very well-known JVP. It's a very well-known acronym, and and to me, spending lots and lots and lots of time on R&D of partnering to really get to some level of customer outcome, and then very quickly trying to figure out how to convert that into revenue is paramount, right? But then the skill that you need for that is essentially the skill of a salesperson, because a salesperson will do discovery, then they will do solutioning, then they will put a proposal in front of you, and then they will go for sign off, right? And then they will close a deal. So like, I don't want to salesify the partnerships process, but the rules are the same, right? So the having sales skills are very important.
Totally. Yeah.
Right?
We preach that all the time. I mean, like, I was in direct sales for, almost 20 years. I've been doing channel, and just probably tired of hearing this, but I treat the channel like a sales job. Like, we're here to create revenue, top of funnel pipeline, and help close deals, but it's so much more. But if you don't treat it that way, if you're just, as Jeff loves to say, if you're just a chugger and a hugger, going to events and drinking and making friends, you're not going to create enough revenue for the company to really
totally
lock on.
And to me, the hugging and chugging is for connecting, but the company needs building, right? And so this is like, and this has been a debate inside of PL as well, inside of our management team, or probably a discussion, because like, I think when I framed it as builder versus connector, everybody kind of grokked it and said, hey, okay, this makes sense, but like, who are the builders and who are the connectors in the PL, and what are we building for the connectors and what are we building for the builders? Because that's essentially this profession that we love, right? It has two different pieces to it. The other thing that the other core skill set, I think, that's very important is ownership and urgency, because you have people that start a lot of things, and you'll hear this. Like, I mean, I'm sure you're going to have like hundreds of guests over here, and you'll see this theme come up where people start stuff, but they never finish it. It happens in partnerships a lot more than happens in other places, right? Because you have the connector mindset trying to go build versus basically developing a builder mindset and just using a builder playbook, and you'll get to it, right? Yes. So the thing that I want to really encourage listeners with is, this is not rocket science, right? This is a applied science. The playbooks exist. Amazing podcast hosts like yourself exist, who are creating all this modern media, and so utilize ownership, develop urgency, use a salesperson skill set, and then build. If you're going to go down the product partnership path, build amazing product partnerships that deliver outcomes. If you're going to go through the go-to-market partnership path, which is where channels live, like, pick the channels where your ICP already exists, and then utilize them to distribute your product.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, I'm kind of curious, right? And this is almost, well, it'll be a little bit of a plug for you, but how would you position, or I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase this, but what would be a good story or a positive outcome that you've heard from partnership leaders, right? Like, we'll forget about John for a second, right? Because he's going to walk around and blow the horn. No, but seriously, I mean, I know he loves it. But what kind of what's a success story that you've heard from somebody that engaged in partnership leaders? How did it impact them, and what was that outcome like? Because you mentioned outcome, and it got me thinking about that.
Yeah, totally. And this is a very fair call out as well. And I love answering this question now because we have so many stories. But at the fundamental level, partnership leaders can be your bat phone, right? Where you are stuck and you're having an oh shit moment. And so, well, who are you going to call, right? And then you can probably have to call 7 people to get their opinion, versus you can just post something in PL and a number of people will direct message you. 92% of conversations in PL happen privately, right? So that's one big thing to know, right? Another person had 7 meetings and actually built a partner program on the backside of that because they knew what to build, right? Yeah. That's like a massive productivity enhancer, right? Another person,
that is amazing,
connected with people, got advice, and landed at the right role at the right company. Right?
Can I just pause you right there for a second? Because I really relate to what you're saying right now, because as you know, I was out of work last year, and you and I talked. You were so great. You were trying to connecting me to people that were looking. And actually, I landed a job based on the fact that the person who hired me was a partnership leader, and she reached out to you for a reference. And it was between me and somebody else, and she picked me because of that reference. So like that's like the power of partnership leaders for me that is not talked about a lot, but it's really something that is it's there, and you're just kind of describing that.
Yeah, and so the reference wasn't that I was like, "Hey, John's a fantastic guy," which again is true, but
Yeah, I agree.
but what I said, what I always tell people is, if somebody cared enough about their profession to join an industry association and pay for it, they must really love it, or they must be infatuated with it, or they must really care about it, right? To do that, because you have so many things to pay for today, right? Reddit, you can pay for, I think, or X you can pay for, or YouTube now you can pay for. Like, I mean, there's like the world has created amazing places to park your cash, right? But if you really cared about this and you said, you know what, I'm going to go where a bunch of modern partner professionals are, who are learning modern ways of alliances and modern ways of channels and discovering all these different ways to increase revenue of their companies. That has to be worth something. And that's what I tell every time I get a reference call, I'm like, I can tell you all about this person, but this thing that I'm about to share with you is probably worth something even more than anything else that I could tell you about the person.
Yeah, I agree.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of throw in from my perspective, right? Because like I said in the beginning, John had mentioned it. I looked at it. I'm just one of those, I'm a grinder kind of guy. Like I just go out, I do the work. John will tell you, I mean, I've had the opportunity to work with John and a lot of people as a channel manager, partner manager.
Yeah.
The names have evolved over the years.
Yeah, totally.
And I'll just, for anybody that does listen to this, I mean, my takeaway was, I told John, I kind of had a, kind of slapped that V8 moment, right? Where I slapped myself in the head. I was like, damn it. I probably should have joined this 3.5 years ago when he told me, because it would have helped me accelerate some things that I was doing. I mean, you figure things out. The problem is I'm going to get to the same point, but I could have gotten there faster potentially.
Totally.
Right. That's been my takeaway. I really embrace it. In fact, I'll just digress. Since joining, like I was telling John, like I'm bumping into people now. I'm like, wait a minute, you're a part of this too. And then they tell me what they're doing, and they're, it's just, I kind of, like I said, I kind of had that VA moment, smack myself and went, all right, so lesson learned, but I will share that with other people.
Yeah. And I look at partnership leaders in another way. Like there's no master's program for partnership, building.
True.
Right. And I feel like the knowledge you gain from just that community and everything that Asher and Chris and Ty have done is like getting a master's in what you're doing for your livelihood. Right. It's helped me immensely figure out problems that I've had or situations I got into, or designing, a part of the program or an ecosystem play. And it's, you just can't find that anywhere. And it's so invaluable. That's why, like I say, anybody who's out there, it's so worth the money. Don't hesitate. Don't delay, because you're missing out. You're missing out on a real education. And I love.
Sorry, John. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's. Look, I mean, I'm just saying from my own personal experience, Asher. Like I was able to get through, and look, I feel really confident about what I do in the channel, but at the same time, I was reaching out. You nailed it. I reached out to my pool of people, right? I had a group of people and they were my peers, that I would bounce things off of. Now that when you mentioned that you can drop it into a Slack channel, your sphere of influence expands exponentially, right? And you start touching people that you would have never, and I know people are like, oh, they're plugging this. This isn't a plug. I'm just saying when I took a step back and I really evaluated, it was, I don't want other people to kick themselves 3-4 years down the road and go, wow, I could have learned and had feedback from over 1,000, 2,000 people faster to solve a problem, to figure something out, to develop a plan, to input on strategy. And the reason I say that is I'm just watching this AI explosion, and it is shifting the playbooks. It is shifting the go to market. You've got to shift faster. And this is, it's potentially an opportunity to do that, is my point.
And we can also talk about the negatives of PL. I mean, I'm absolutely okay with and transparent enough, because again, this thing that we built was built by partnership professionals for partnership professionals of partnership professionals. Like, this is really like some of the early folks like Devin and stuff, and Ty Lingley, and like there's Kristen Roeder and Kelly Serban, who's still helping us a lot. And then there's a number of people that really like leaned in, and supported us. But as the community gets bigger, you need to find smaller groups of people that you can stay connected with. So, for example, I meet with Mike Stalker and Sean Lee for pizza every 6 weeks. Then we go to a different pizza spot. But I think we've been doing that for 2 years now. I know their families. I know what their personal goals are. I know exactly where they are in life.
That's awesome.
I check in on them. They check in back on me. Like this has become a lifestyle thing, right? But also, like, some people have been with us for, like, I mean, John for sure, like, but there's other people that have been for us for even longer, right? And then some people have been with us for shorter. So we've created a mechanism where wherever you are in life, if you want to be part of the network, you can. If you don't want to be part of the network, that's okay. Just go to the conference and get your fill there. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. Go to a training class. Okay, if you don't want to do that, go download a research report. Like, we've created like at least 12 different ways for you to stay connected to us.
Right.
And as we grow and become more mature as an organization, because you have to remember, we are going through our own startup journey as well, we will create more meaningful ways that plug into your workflow and to your life flow. And then that's really what at least I'm trying to do.
Yeah, no, that's so true. So I just want to be mindful. We're almost at the top of the or the bottom of the show here. I want to get in one more question, and Jeff, you probably have one more question as well. But and Asher, actually, that was really great that you shared a little of the negatives of partnership leaders. But I don't hear that. I plug my ears.
Tell me.
There's nothing
I
negative
want to know.
It's okay, like we've gotten to the point where it's okay. Like, we should be all the feedback that everybody has given to us has essentially gotten us to this point.
Sure. No, I always want to be better. I accept feedback. I don't get affected by it. I want to be able to be a better person and deliver a better product, right? So,
on that note, I'll also transparently say this: like, sometimes I get a little grief for being too competitive in the marketplace. But like, if it's your company, you are going to be competitive. Like, I don't understand the logic in that. I want PL to win because not because I built it, but because so many people put a lot of their time and energy in this, and I don't want that to go to waste.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree for sure. So I just have one question. Then Jeff, if you have one, we can let you ask. Looking ahead, what are the big goals for partnership leaders, and how do you see the role of the community shaping the future of partnership leaders?
Yeah. So I would say, because we were gifted by the startup gods this gift called the Chief Partner Officer role, which started in the enterprise. It was not something that we created. It's something that the market created, SAP and Microsoft created specifically. And there are a number of Chief Partner Officers now. There's actually almost 1,000 of them. There are 10,000 chief business officers that have partnerships and platforms in the role. So collectively, that group is 11,000 executives.
Wow.
I believe the future is here. What's needed is, how do we chart a path to those roles, and how do we get people in the right companies at the right time of their lives? Mm-hmm. For example, if you're about to build a family, going to a startup is not a good idea. No matter if it's OpenAI, because your family is going to hate you, right?
Yep.
And if you are someone who wants to really work for 5, 6, 7 more years, going to a company that is, maybe say you're at a $4 billion company, going to a $40 million company doesn't make sense. At $4 billion, $1 billion company is a startup to you.
Yeah.
So really finding the fit for where you are in your life. Sometimes people say, hey, you know what? I want to get paid like a VP versus be a VP. Amazing. Then go to a channel sales role. Sometimes people say, okay, you know what? I want to be in a program manager role, and then being in product partnerships is a better word, right? Sometimes people say, I really want to create a multi-pronged program that caters to 6 different types of partners. Amazing. Go into a ops role, right? So really focusing. So the future of partnership leaders isn't necessarily a community. It's actually a services company that serves you no matter where you are in this journey of yours.
Wow. That's powerful. I love that.
I like that.
Mhm.
I like that. Well, I will share this, and then I'm going to ask my question. I wish you would have told me that startup thing 25 years ago. So, yeah, I had a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old and decided, hey, you know what, hon? I'm going to go in a startup. And it was like, yeah, great idea. We'll see you in 3 years. And hey, well, look, I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, I'm pumping a lot of money into the therapy industry, so I got that going for me. But all kidding aside, and that's not just that's me, right? Because it's like, why would you do that? But so my question is, and it's kind of along the lines of John. So how do you see the partnership role evolving over the next 3 to 5 years, and what do you think the impact of technologies will be on that?
Yeah. So my point of view is just like any other role, AI is going to assist us in increasing our productivity. There is a long-term hypothesis that it may replace some of the partner management, but I'm like, well, it will replace sales too, then marketing too. Like it's going to replace everything, right? So, but what I believe will happen is we will just get better at execution of the things that already exist today, because that's really what is needed, right? CEOs are saying, hey, my outbound strategy isn't working, so can you work through partnerships to get us pipeline? Well, all 3 of us know on this call that takes a long time, because if you want to do a partner marketing campaign, there is this planning tax that occurs, which comes from getting 2 different partner marketing teams aligned on the same goals. Well, if we can utilize AI to automate a bunch of those processes, then we just got into market much faster, right? So to me, I'm more excited about the productivity gains that technology can bring to us. I'm less worried about this role being eradicated from the face of organizations. And partnership leaders will do anything and everything in its power to support the learning and enablement and the connecting of professionals looking to drive more revenue through partnerships.
Amen to that. I mean, that is powerful. That's great.
Yeah, I like that last point though. I mean, I don't know if you saw it. Well, and again, I just kind of had that aha moment, like, wow, yeah. Because John and I are both on the same page, about there's a book by Stephen Covey Jr. About the speed of trust. And to your point, but there are things that process, if you can find ways to speed that process up, you still have to go build the trust, right? You need trust. The channel is about trust, but I think you kind of hit on something. So yeah, I'm going to kind of dig into that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, John, but
I'll leave you guys with this one, because
answer.
I get this trust question all the time, and I go back and say, look, there are n number of frameworks out there that tell you how to operationalize culture, right? There are wide number of books out there that talk about the speed of establishing trust. Well, partner professionals, if you just take the playbooks and operationalize your role, you'll get to trust faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And we're just trying to get to trust faster, right? And you do that by doing activities. And if you're following a QBR deck and I'm following a QBR deck, and both decks are separate, different decks, I'll just break it down tactically. Then we're just like spending 4 hours just explaining to each other what each other's deck means. It will be simpler for one party to just take their deck and share it, and then say, can you fill your information in the same deck, and let's just like not waste time. And that's what I think is actually broken, or maybe it may be a problem in a smaller segment, but AI can actually help with that.
Yeah. Well, Asher, you've shared so much. We really appreciate it, and what you're doing is just it's just amazing. please continue. We want to see partnership leaders last forever and be a part of it. I have one really final quick question.
Sure.
Jeff and I are both going to Catalyst, and for anyone listening, Catalyst is the annual gathering of partnership leaders. It's in May from the 13th to the 15th in Seattle. Get your tickets now. It's probably, I don't know, probably close to sold out, but amazing event. But my question is, for podcasters, is there going to be a space for us to do a show at Catalyst live?
Absolutely. Like this year, we're going to have a lot of space. You can connect with our team. John, if you just connect with like SB or Meg or someone on our team, we can create a spot for you where you can just set up your rig. But also like this stuff happens at every Catalyst. Like there's like 2 or 3 different podcast shows that are running. So I believe we have the entire hotel for those days, and you're welcome to set up anywhere. But check with our team. Like we should be. This should not be that big of an issue to
okay, cool. Yeah, because I've been telling Jeff I want to do that. We're going to walk down the halls in our Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
We're going to talk about partnership leaders and the channel surfers.
Yeah. So, well, actually, what you guys should do is bring a surfboard. And then put a sticker on it called the Channel Surfer sticker. It'll take you like, I don't know, $20 at a
right in the lobby.
And then, you got the whole thing.
Oh, believe me, the marketing stuff that's been flying around in our heads, and it's kind of like, bring it down. Here's what we're gonna do. We got a bunch of shirts. We got this. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do. Okay, you know what else we should do? But no, that's a great idea. I mean, it's I'm excited about going actually, and like John said, the ability to go and do the podcast and at least do something there, because part of, as I said in the beginning, part of our premise is. It's not trying to help people navigate this, right? To surf the nuances of what's going on in the channel, hence the name.
Yeah.
So
I'll give you a tagline. You should consider putting the tagline as like "Ride the revenue wave," or something like that.
I love it.
Trademark. I'm going to USPPO right now. I'm going to go to USPPO. No. And but I'll let John kind of close out. But first of all, thank you very, very much, man. This was awesome. And like I said, my big thing when you listen, I take notes like crazy. A lot of really good feedback. And like John said, I'm kind of a newbie to the PL, but just being in for the short time, it's been really, really interesting. The amount of information. I actually got lost in Slack one night for probably 2.5 hours. So just reading. Honestly, God, it's just. There's almost an endless repository of information.
I wish Slack created short form video. Then we're hooked on forever.
I get caught up in catching up with messages because I don't go in every day anymore, and I go back and I'm like, I got to check these messages, and I've been asked to. I put a presentation together like how to sell the channel internally to your sales organization, and somebody asked me for it, and then before you know it, like 30 people have asked me for it. So I'm constantly sending it out, but I got to catch up. So, but listen, Asher, thank you so much for your time. This was amazing. You've done a phenomenal job. You, Chris, Ty are just, above, beyond your years there in genius. So we appreciate you coming on our show today and sharing with us. For anyone out there listening, Partnership Leaders is partnershipleaders.com. You can get information about the membership, and Catalyst is on there too, if you want to join Catalyst. For us, you can hear us on pretty much any podcasting services available right now. Our website is channelsurfers.com, and we also have a LinkedIn page called The Channel Surfers. So with that being said, Asher, thank you, and have a great weekend. Jeff, as always, great sharing the mic with you here.
Awesome. John, thank you. Asher.